Hello everyone, welcome back to Speaking Spurs with me, Kieran, talking all things Tottenham. Today we're going to be talking about the victory in the Premier League over Aston Villa. Finally, we're back on track with a win. Difficult game, but we got through it and we played fairly well. And this is part of the new era with Speaking Spurs, where you're going to be getting updates every single day, as promised. So today is the first day where you're guaranteed to start getting your videos every day. So tomorrow there'll be little nuggets coming your way based on any news that comes out of Tottenham Hotspur. So let's talk about that victory in the Premier League after some abysmal results where we conceded 9 goals in our last 3 games. Unfortunately, all against London opposition as well, which does not bode well in the derby department. But back on track now at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 2-1 against, a decent side in Aston Villa. Yeah, they've definitely started the Premier League fairly well, had some good results. The 3-0 win over Everton, a draw with Brentford, who beat West Ham at the weekend, 2-0 win over Newcastle. They've had, the 1-0 win over Manchester United as well. So look, they're looking a fairly decent side. And yes, they weren't at their best. They didn't come out fighting the way they normally would. They were kind of disillusioned at times against us, which it helped us in a sense, because had they come out the way they've been playing so far, even with the performance we gave, I think we would have struggled to necessarily get the win. I think a draw would have been a good result based on the way they've been playing this season. However, it didn't work that way. We still had shaky moments in the game. So let's just talk through it and talk about some individual performances. So the lineup: Hugo Lloris in goal. Emerson Royal came back in at right back, with Reguilon keeping his position on the other side. Romero partnered Eric Dyer, which means Sanchez dropped to the bench for this game. Then we had Højbjerg and Skip in the 2 holding midfield roles. Tanguy was pushed into a number 10 role. Mora and Son occupied the wing positions, with Harry Kane up front. So yes, we reverted back to a 4-2-3-1, which worked for us in the Cup, the Europa Conference League against NS Mura. And so this is something that a few of us have spoken about recently. The 4-2-3-1 is a formation that was used by Pochettino. It was used by Jose Mourinho. And it's certainly something we're more comfortable with. It gives us more of an attacking threat. When we go 4-3-3, that third central midfielder is tasked with way too much defending. We also become very narrow and congested in the centre, which we did at times in this game, but that was more down to the way Lucas Moura was playing and probably adjusting back to playing a wider role. He has a tendency to drift inside, and we know he plays better when he's in the middle anyway, which is probably the reason he was doing that, but it left us a bit congested. So substitutes that came on the pitch, there was only the 2, Giovanni Lo Celso and Hill. Hill we won't really talk about because he came on so late it was kind of irrelevant. But let's talk about the individual player performances. Hugo Lloris, and I say this in a lot of games about our keepers, they didn't have much to do. And again, this was a game where he didn't have much to do. He couldn't really do much about the Ollie Watkins goal. He did make a good save from Danny Ings not too much later than that. But it's a good thing that I'm saying that our keepers didn't have much to do. It means we are doing our defensive duties, or if we're not, the opposition just aren't taking chances and shooting on target. So, he's in there, he done his job, simple as. Emerson Royal, now, very hit and miss start. Obviously, that's going to happen. Doesn't speak the language. The only person he's really got to talk to is Lucas Moura in the squad. He had a hard task up against some very tricky people to start with since he's come in. But I actually thought much better today. He's clearly settling in a little bit better. Seemed in high spirits. He put in some really good challenges. Great battle with Target down that side of the pitch. They were going at each other all game. Feel like he made some good blocks. There were some great interceptions. He was strong. He supported the attack. Is this anywhere near the best we're going to see from him? No, it's not. He's still very much settling his way into the squad. But I tell you what, I feel like he put the energy in. It was a much better display than what we saw last time he was out. So he's adjusting. But we've got to allow this guy to have time at the end of the day. On the other side, Reguilon, who I've criticised quite a lot so far, I feel like, and that's not because I think he's a bad player. I just think he's going through a rough patch of some sort. He's not performing the way he can and that we've seen him perform. However, hopefully this is the start of things to come. It wasn't his best performance by any stretch of the imagination. but solid. He defended fairly well down his side. He got forward and did much better. His passing was better than it's been recently as well. In fact, it was a good ball that he played for Son to break for our second goal. So, look, all round a much better performance from him. This will lift his confidence, especially with the fact that we got 3 points, which will lift everybody's confidence within the squad. Romero, he's looking good. He's looking good. I think people overpraised him from this game. There were some iffy moments. He actually made a late lunge, which left him out of position for the Ollie Watkins goal. But apart from that, mostly good work. He was pinging some nice balls up towards Sonny. So he's comfortable with the ball at feet as well. Made some good interceptions and blocks as well. Some nice headers. Eric Dyer. Again, lots of blocks, lots of interceptions, especially in the first half. He had to cover for Romero when he made that late lunge, which left Watkins open for the goal. So, although you could partially blame Dyer for that one, I actually think it's a combination of the two. Romero's late lunge cost us on there, which meant Dyer had to make a decision. So, he then went to cover, which left Watkins open. So, that was just more, mistime challenge and poor positioning and communication between the two, I think. But it was a good performance from Dyer, and he's one of these. He's very, I wouldn't say he ever has really bad performances. It's just a case of he's got that mistake in him, and unfortunately he gets over-criticised because that mistake then takes away from all the good stuff he's done in the game. But yeah, from the two of them, I thought fairly composed throughout the game. Moving on to the midfield, Højbjerg, back to his old self, really. He's looked a bit out of it recently. I don't know if it's tiredness or the fact that the formation is not suiting us because it's just inviting too much pressure on. And with 3 of them sort of more restricted, it's hard to know who's going to go when there's the 3 of you to communicate. So he knows this better with the 2. Obviously grabbed himself a great goal. And he has this ability. He tends not to get up the pitch too much for us, but he has that quality within him. And I think we see it more for Denmark recently as well in the Euros. It's very important for them. So, yeah. Enjoyed his performance. Much more energy, much more composure. Better player, back to where we need him to be. And I feel like that is partly down to the man we're going to talk about next, Oliver Skipp. Look, I think this guy is great. I absolutely love him. He's nowhere near where we need him to be yet, but the performances he's putting in are certainly exactly the trajectory we want him to go on. I feel like he's been very good. Picked up a harsh yellow in the first half, and he was actually moaning to the referee about it when they were coming out for the second half, so he obviously hadn't forgotten it. But again, from him, good energy, some great interceptions. He had the overhead clearance in our own box, which stopped Danny Ings from probably trying an overhead kick of his own to score a goal. But I think him next to Højbjerg gives Højbjerg more of a lease of life. It gives him an assurance and confidence. I just feel like they work well next to each other. Then Tanguy Ndombele, he got to move further forward into the number 10 role that I want to see him in. However, it didn't really work on the day. He struggled to make an impact. He was hesitating a lot, which is something I wouldn't have expected from him because he's so creative and quick-minded. But I feel like in key moments, he just reacted a little bit too late to give the ball or pick the pass. Maybe it's because he's just used to ghosting around people. When he's a bit deeper, I suppose he can see a bigger picture. But I still believe this will be his best role, the number 10, once he kind of gets in the momentum of it. Or if not, he can share it with Lo Celso. Lucas Moura. The problem we had with him is he kept drifting inside, which actually made the middle rather congested. But defensively, he was great. A lot of energy, and this is what we were seeing from Bergwijn last season when Mourinho was playing him and everyone was moaning that Bergwijn wasn't scoring. It was the defensive work he was in there for. Now, Moura did that for the majority of the game, so that's a big tick from me. There was headers in our own box and saved us a couple of times. His best work was really in our half of the pitch. But that helped us, didn't it? It helped relieve some pressure off the defence when Villa were breaking forward. Sonny, man of the match, without a doubt. Reinvigorated. Normally gets a goal against Aston Villa. Didn't get his goal, but constant threat. Constant threat. Linked up with Højbjerg really well for the goal. A couple of 1-2s between them. Look, he was just bags of energy, causing them problems, dragging them all over the place. Very happy. There was some good link up with Kane as well, who probably could have had a few goals, but was just rushing things. And yeah, but great from Son. It's lovely to see him when he's got a smile on his face. He's running about, putting a performance in. Well-deserved man of the match, and may it continue. Now, Harry Kane, not perfect, not back to his best, but a better performance in the fact that we saw him moving about more. He had some good link-up play with some of the other guys. He's a very clever passer of the ball, especially under pressure. But, you know, he had his chances, and it's just not coming for him at the moment. He got his hat-trick, obviously, against Enes Moura, a weaker opposition, but I feel like it's going to come. We always know with Kane, it's going to come eventually, and this is the next step in his process. So expect him to come good soon, all right? Subs, let's talk about Lo Celso. Good on the ball, added to the attack. He had 2 big chances of his own to no avail, but the fact is, he's another guy. He's getting better as the games go on now. I feel like his energy levels are coming back. He's starting to settle in a bit more, and that'll come down to the fact that he's been training with the squad more consistently after, he had the Copa America. He'd obviously gone away for international duty in between and then had to isolate. So, yeah, good from him. It's a positive there. And then Bryan Gil, not much to talk about because he came on so late, just for Lucas to give him a rest. But all in all, a much better performance from the boys. It's, we can't perform like that against many teams. We will lose points if we play that every week. But it's progress. It's a step in the right direction. I'm not going to get carried away with it whatsoever. But it is a good win at a much needed time. So we go into the international break with a bit of confidence. Although previous one, we went in sitting at the top of the table and then fluffed up straight after. But look, hopefully this is a turning point. Nuno needs to get to know these players more still, because he had players coming back from injury, didn't know if some were going to be sold. Then he had the international break with lots more injuries, isolation. So I kind of feel for the guy. When we come back, though, next up in the Premier League, we have on the Sunday, 17th of October, that'll be the game against Newcastle. That is away. They currently sit 19th with only 3 points so far this season. We currently sit 8th, and it's not as bad as it sounds. We're only 4 points off top spot. Chelsea in the top spot. We've got we're sitting in 8th on, what is it? Is it 12 points? And I think they've got 16. So we're only 4 points off the top spot, and it sounds much worse than that with the defeats we've had, because we've got a -4 goal difference after conceding 9 goals within 3 games. So the goal difference isn't great. However, the situation we're in isn't too bad, because teams have dropped points early on in the season. Some of the big guns have played each other so far. Some of the smaller teams like Brentford and Aston Villa, they've picked up some good victories along the way so far. And look, there's no doubt there is a massive gulf between the way we're playing and the way Manchester City and Liverpool and Chelsea are playing. I don't think Manchester United are going to challenge for the title, even with Cristiano Ronaldo. I feel like they're still a little bit behind Man City and Liverpool, certainly, and I feel like Chelsea are definitely going to be there or thereabouts come the end of the season. But look, plenty to work on. Positives to take from the fact that we are where we are, despite how poorly we've played. I mean, we did well against Manchester City. I agree that we should have won that one, really. The next 2 after that, the 2 1-0 wins after that, I think were almost like false results. So sitting top of the table was a false position for us. But do you know what? Let's not get down. It's a positive result, and some players that we needed to step up have stepped up. Kane is certainly improving. Lo Celso's improving. The formation is back to what it should be. So Nuno's obviously had a hard look at what we need to do. May it continue. Enjoy the time during the international break. But as I said, you are going to get videos each day. So, we'll talk about some of the players that are on international duty. We'll talk about any little transfer links that come up, because January isn't that far away. We've had one transfer window closed, and it seems like sooner than ever we could be getting another transfer window creep up on us like that. So expect links with lots of players. Serge Aurier has got his... Just something quickly to mention. Serge Aurier has got himself a move now after having his contract mutually terminated by the club. He has signed for Villarreal. I really wish him the best. He's a guy I kind of had a soft spot for. I felt sorry for him. I know he's had a bit of a troubled past and anger issues, attitude issues, but He had that mistake in him, but there was just something about him that I liked, and I really wanted it to work out for him at Spurs. He's a very likeable character around the dressing room. I know a lot of the guys loved him. He's a prankster. He was one of the dancers. He was good energy. He was good energy to have around the club, and it's a shame that he's gone and it didn't work out. But I really think in the Spanish league, La Liga is somewhere that he can really, really kick on. I do think it's a good league for him. I mean, he's got pace, he's got power, he's got ability on the ball. You can kind of get away with a little bit more in La Liga. It's not as good as the Premier League, as we know. So, wish him all the best. Thanks for sticking around, guys. That's your video for today. There will be another one tomorrow. What's it going to be on? I don't know. We'll find out. It depends what news comes out tonight. So that's the great thing about it. Thanks for sticking around. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Stay safe. And as always, guys, come on you Spurs.